Alright, so here we are on lesson 18, writing and evaluating expressions using addition and subtraction. So now in this topic, in topic F, we're going to be writing expressions and solving for them. Alright, so we're going to actually skip the first page and we're going to go on to the second page and we're going to look at example 2. Alright, so these are going to seem a bit overwhelming, but I want you to stick with me. Keep writing things down, and then if you have questions, we can go over them in class. So it says to read each story problem, identify the unknown quantity, and write an addition or subtraction expression that is described, and then we're going to evaluate. So we're going to skip down here to where it says Abby. So if you do get confused, you have those first two already filled out that you can look at. This says Abby read 8 more books than Kristen in the first marking period. Write an expression for the number of books Abby read. So we have Abby and we have Kristen. And we want to know how many books Abby read. So the thing that we're going to do here is we're always going to use the opposite of what we're looking for. So in this next box we are going to say let K equal number of books, oh boy, Kristen read. I don't know why it's doing this. Alright, so K is the number of books Kristen read. Because we are looking for Abby's, that means we're going to use a K for Kristen. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a picture. I'm going to try to go off over to the side here. So we have K. Maybe not. It's going to let me write? No. Alright, so I went in and I tried to fix my boxes so I can write on them. So K is the number of books Kristen read, and now we said we were going to draw a picture. So we have K, and then we have A for Abby. And we know, so if they each read 1 book, so they're each going to get a dot. But then, if you look, it said Abby read 8 more books than Kristen. So that means Abby's going to get 8 more dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we want to know how we got from Kristen to Abby because we're using K. And that's what goes in our next box. This would be K plus 8. So now if we solve, Kristen read 9 books in the first marking period, so we have K plus 8. If we plug in 9 for Kristen plus 8, we get 17, and this is our answer to the question for how many Abby read, so we would say Abby read 17 books. Alright, again, that was just the first example, so hang in there, we're going to keep going. Okay, the next one said Abby read 6 more books than Kristen in the second marking period. Write an expression for the number of books Kristen read. So now because we're looking for what Kristen read, that means we're going to use the letter A. So let A equal the number of books Abby read. Alright, and again we're going to draw our picture, our A and our K. They each get 1 dot to start with. But now we know Abby read 6 more books than Kristen. That means Abby's going to get 6 more dots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, we want to know how to get from Abby to the person that we're looking for, which is Kristen. And to get there, we would have to subtract 6 from A, so this would be A minus 6 in your next box. Now we use this to help us solve, so we take our A minus 6, and they told us Abby read 20 books, so we're going to do 20 minus 6, which is 14. So to answer the question, we would say Kristen read 14 books. Alright, so at the top of this next page, or actually at the bottom of this page, I want you to write a note about your variable. You want to use opposite variable of what you are looking for. Alright, so that's just a little note to help us out. But we are going to go on to the next page now. And on the next page it says Daryl has been teaching for 1 year longer than Julie. Write an expression for the number of years that Daryl has been teaching. So we're looking for Daryl. So that means we're going to use a J for Julie. So over here we're going to say let J equal number years Julie teaching. Then we draw our picture. We have a J for Julie and a D for Daryl. They both get 1 to start with. So now they told us that Daryl has been teaching for 1 year longer. So that means Daryl just gets 1 extra dot. And we want to know how to get from Julie to Daryl. Daryl wasn't very good. So to get from Julie to Daryl, that means we have to add 1. So we're going to have J plus 1 over here. And now they told us Julie has been teaching for 28 years, so we take our J plus 1, we put in our 28 for J plus 1, and that equals 29. So to answer our question, we would say Daryl has been teaching for 29 years. Alright. The next one, Ian scored 4 fewer goals than Julia in the first half of the season. Write an expression for the number of goals Ian scored. So we're looking for Ian, so that means we're going to use a J for Julia. So let J equal number goals Julia scored. And then we put in our letters for our pictures. So we have a J for Julia and an I for Ian. They each get 1 to start with. But now we know Ian scored 4 fewer goals than Julia. So that means Julia scored more goals. So she's going to get 4 more dots. Right? And to check this, so if Ian scored 4 fewer, that makes sense what we drew there. And we're looking on how to get from Julia to Ian. So to get from Julia to Ian, we'd have to subtract those 4. So it'd be J minus 4 here. And we put that in our last box to solve. And we know Julia scored 13 goals. So it'd be 13 minus 4, which equals 9. So we can say Ian scored 9 goals. Always make sure to go back and answer the question that they're asking you. So in that last box, we shouldn't be saying that Julia scored 9 goals because we want to know how many Ian scored. Alright, we got 2 more. Then the next one says, Ian scored 3 fewer goals than Julia in the second half of the season. Write an expression for the number of goals Julia scored. So now we're looking for Julia, so that means we're going to use an I for Ian. Let I equal number goals Ian scored. We draw our pictures. We have an I for Ian, a J for Julia. Now, they each get 1 to start with, but now we know that Ian scored 3 fewer goals. So that means Julia scored more goals, so she gets 3 extra dots. Now to get from Ian to Julia, we're going to have our I. We have to add 3 because Julia scored 3 more. So now we plug that in our last box here, I plus 3. And Ian scored 8 goals, so that means we have 8 plus 3, which equals 11. So to answer a question, we would say Julia scored 11 goals. Alright. So for this last one, I do want you to try this on your own, but we'll read it together, and then I'll have you try this on your own. Please don't leave a blank, and then we'll go over it in class tomorrow. So it says, Johan visited Niagara Falls 3 fewer times than Arthur. Write an expression for the number of times Johan visited Niagara Falls. So because we're looking for Johan, that means we're going to use the letter A. So let A equal, And that's all I'm going to leave you with. Alright, look at your examples up above. Draw a picture to help you, and then we will go over it in class tomorrow. Even if it's wrong, that's okay. Just please try that last one on your own.